Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McElmore.
All right. Hello, and welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Lisa Markel, independent contractor for a global skincare company. Welcome, Lisa. How are you this evening?
I am wonderful. Had a great day, and I'm looking forward to a great evening with you tonight.
All right. Well, I like that. This is awesome. I mean, we have been struggling to get this thing going since the beginning of the year. So I am so excited about having you on.
Me too.
And you being able to come and talk to my listeners and telling your story. So before we actually get started with the real so-called interview, why don't you tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, and what you've been up to?
Perfect. Well, I am a very happily married woman. We just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary, my husband and I.
Wow.
We have two amazing daughters. We have one granddaughter and a grandson on the way in August. So we are completely blessed. I just absolutely love my life. I know that sounds like cliche to some people, but we are very blessed and living every minute to its fullest.
Well, you know what? That is beautiful. I'm so happy. It's always great to hear the beautiful things that are going on in people's lives, because a lot of times when we think that we have it bad, we really don't. So, keep those blessings coming, and congratulations on your anniversary, 30 years.
Thank you.
And got a new baby coming around. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I know you're head over heels right now trying to keep it all together, right?
Oh, I'm telling you what, I just spent the afternoon with my daughter and granddaughter at the pool. And just, when those little babies reach out their arms to you and they don't want to leave, they just want to stay with you. It makes every struggle you've been in your life through, it makes it all worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, I'm not a grandmother yet, and I'm okay with that. But, but I definitely love babies. So, but I get to myself, don't rush. I'm good. I'm just in my 50s. I'm trying to have some fun. Okay.
There you go. There you go. Well, you can do that and that too. But, it's definitely it's the treasure. When I've heard people say it's the treasure for all the things we go through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're right.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful. So again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now let's talk a little bit more about why you're in business and what has inspired you to go into the skincare business.
Well, it's funny. Actually, I never would have thought in a million years that I would be in the skincare business. And actually, when you talk about inspiring, I was blessed to be raised by wonderful parents. My parents were very involved in their community and in church. And my dad was one of those guys that I remember as a little girl, him saying to me, it doesn't matter what you decide to do in life, you're going to be the best at it. Mm-hmm. And those words just rung in my head. He even said, you could be a janitor and you'd be the best darn janitor there is. So it was cool because he didn't really set the bar. He let me set my own bar, but then told me that wherever that bar was, I could achieve it. So it was really cool. And then my mom, on the other hand, she was a stay-at-home mom, which was great back in those days. You could do that. Mm-hmm. She took care of us kids. But then once we all graduated, she went back to school, put herself through college, and then started her own business as a tax consultant.
Wow.
And it just, I know. Wow. Right. I mean, those are some big shoes to fill. But they never made it feel that way. They were amazing. So I actually became a dental hygienist.
Okay.
I went through school. Actually in high school, I thought that's what I wanted to do, and became a dental hygienist because I wanted to kind of be that stay-at-home mom, but still help with the family income, and absolutely loved it. And have done that for 34 years. Yes, I know. So how did that go from that to skincare?
Yes.
That's a good question. That's the question of the night, right?
Exactly. But before you get into that question, one thing I want to point out is that I'm sitting here listening to your story, and you sound like the perfect perfect family environment that every child wants to be raised in, and every child has an opportunity there. And the thing I loved about your parents and your family is how, like you said, they didn't set the bar for you, you set your own. That is so crucial. And I think a lot of that today is remiss and removed. You know,
Yep.
we live in a society where everything is about, well, you got to be here. You got to pass every test. You got to do this. You got to do that. And, you know, I think about even as us growing up as kids, we didn't have those issues. We could be who we wanted to be, and we had the options that a lot of the kids don't have today. And it's not that they don't have options, but their options are all based on technology and, you know, having, like I said, to have the perfect marks on your testing and scoring.
Yep.
And they've lost the basis of what it means to communicate with people and to be able to know that whatever you decide to do, like you said, whether you want to be a janitor or if you want to dig a ditch or whatever it is, that you are at the best of whatever it is that you're doing. And I love that spirit about your family, because I can hear it in your tone and in your conversation. And it's just beautiful. So I just had to say that. So
Thank you so much. And amen to that. That is very true. And luckily, I was able to pass it on to my own kids, and that's kind of where my story starts. Then, well, I can't say starts because obviously it starts with what my parents did for me. But when I said I had two beautiful daughters, which I absolutely do, our second daughter we actually adopted from Romania when she was 5 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So back in the year 2000. We brought her home from Romania, and that rocked our world. It was, I mean, we prayed and prayed, and obviously that was something that we were called to do, and just absolutely fell in love with her. Our oldest daughter was very much a part of the decision process and everything. And I don't know if you've had any of your other friends or associates go through a process like that, but a lot of those poor children don't have the upbringing that we were blessed to have, that we were just talking about, and they suffer. And she did. She suffered. I said did. She does. She has what they call reactive attachment disorder, pretty severe, and some fetal alcohol spectrum disorder.
Wow.
And so, yeah, a lot of concerns and a lot of trauma in her life. And so we went through about 17 years of some very intense therapy, in and out of hospitals, just a very different life than what most people would think of as a family life. It was wonderful in its own way, and, you know, raising her and the things that God placed on our plate and the things that we learned from her and the things that she learned from us were completely amazing. My husband was a police officer during the time. He has since retired. But there were a lot of struggles during that time. It was a very difficult time in life, and it took its toll on myself. It took its toll on our family unit. She's wonderful now. We found what works for her. She lives with a mentor, and we've all become better because of everything that we went through. But that's kind of where my life moved then into where I'm at right now, is that one day I kind of woke up and went, wow, okay, I had become another person. I had pretty much become a recluse in my home because she was hard to socialize with. We couldn't go out very often. We couldn't take her places. And it was a lot of pressure on me being the mom figure for her. That's where all of her trauma came from. Right. And so, you know, I started looking in the mirror and not recognizing who I was anymore. Wow. Yeah. My husband was wonderful. He'd support me. He'd come home from work after working nights and find me laying in bed, just in a fetal position, just not knowing how I was going to go on. And he would hold me and love me through it and talk about what life was going to be like on the other end. Once we made it through the parenting and everything. And so we made it through that, and everybody's fine. But Lisa looks in the mirror and goes, okay, I'm done.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're
there's
worn
nothing
out.
Left. Yeah,
right.
I'm worn out. There's nothing left of me.
Right.
So a dear friend of mine had started her own business with skincare, and she actually gifted me, because of everything she knew I was through. She gifted me a part of what we call a regimen, a part of her kit.
Mm-hmm.
And I started using it at nighttime. And the third night that I used it, I come out, my husband looks at me and he goes, "Well, I'm not sure what you're doing now, but your face has a glow like it used to."
Wow.
And that it still brings tears to my eyes. Sorry.
No, it's
That was,
okay, because your story. I'm sitting here thinking about you brought. You went out and you found a blessing. By adopting this beautiful young baby, and then
yes.
realized how much, even though she's been a blessing, how much that your whole world, like you said, your world and your life changed, and then to wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm not that person that I used to be. What happened? And then to have one opportunity where somebody else turns around and says, you know what, I'm going to give you a gift. Here's a blessing to you. That one moment totally inspired you, re-inspired you all over again to realize that, you know what, I was still here. I'm just, was down there somewhere on the bottom trying to fight my way back up.
Yes.
And to have somebody just ignite that spirit in you, that your husband, he knew it was there. And just that one moment changed you forever. And so now here you are into this new opportunity. So it's a blessing, and it's okay to want to cry, because somebody who loves you as much as your husband is sitting there telling you, you know what, I don't know what you're doing. You're beautiful. You've been beautiful, but something has made you so much more igniting. And so, like, what is that? So now tell me, from that point, after you felt that moment, you decided to jump in all fours. How did you decide to go ahead and move forward into this skin line?
Well, at that moment, I knew that, I love that feeling. So a couple of days later, the same friend invited me to learn a little bit more about the company itself and the business. And then in comes my dad back in my head, that smart businessman, my mom, that seed that had been planted so many years ago of telling me that I could do anything and be anybody, and watching my mom become that independent woman and that source of strength again after she had gone through the raising of her family. Those things all poured back into me again. And I took a look at this opportunity and said, you know what? If I can do for other people what this friend just did for me, why would I not want to do that?
Exactly.
And so, boom, that was it.
Exactly. And the best part about it, though, like you said here, is the seed. The seed was already planted, and it's amazing what it takes for us to allow that seed to actually blossom into something, and now you had your opportunity, you're doing this now. And like you said, giving those other women an opportunity to feel as good as you felt, and to have somebody look at you that way. And like I said, it's not, and some, I think, the thing I want to point out to people, our listeners, is that it's not about the makeup. It's just about feeling good about yourself. And, just like I always tell people, it's no different than having, you get your hair done and you come out, you feel like you're $1 million, right?
Right. Exactly.
It's those little things that truly ignite our souls, because we just really do want to be appreciated. It's really not about all the other stuff. So, go ahead and, and continue with your story, because this is sounding real exciting coming up.
Well, exactly. And, you totally, Kimberly, touched on it too, because I'm surrounded by people that have taken this opportunity for so many different reasons. And when you say feeling good about yourself, it may not even be because of what you're seeing in the mirror. It may be because you've always been known as someone's wife or someone's mom or, somebody's daughter or something. And everybody needs to be known for themselves, and we're all children of God, right? That's wonderful, but we are our own individual people, and to be able to still be that wonderful mom, and for me, being an amazing grandma, I've never had that title, and I'm embracing that title, and we can embrace our titles, but also feel fulfilled as individuals too, and I think that that's really, really important. satisfies the soul down deep inside of us too. When we
Exactly.
become those people that we were created to be, and when you're utilizing those gifts that you were given from above. And I'm sorry, I apologize for my faith coming through.
No,
but yet
amen.
I don't.
I was going to sit there and say amen. Okay.
Okay.
Well, the bottom line is you have to be thankful, and like
Yes.
so we don't know sometimes who we really are until we have to be put in a certain situation or circumstances that allow us to actually bring out our real us.
Yeah.
We're so used to conforming. We live in society in a world of conformity. And,
Right.
when you realize that you don't have to conform, and then all of a sudden you realize, I got all this stuff going on inside of me, and I've been waiting all these years to let it out, but,
Amen.
timing is everything. I believe
Yes.
in timing is everything. When God says it's time, he's ready to let
Yes.
you loose because he feels you prepared yourself enough for it. That's really what it's about. And
Yep.
but you've struggled a long time to realize that you didn't exist for a long time because it was
Right.
all about the family. And,
Right.
and it's funny because the roles really were kind of return and opposite. I mean, you were doing no different than what your mother was doing. And then you realized, boom, this is the day,
Yep.
And that's all the roles were reversed, and that's all it took. And here you are today. You are doing your own thing. So how long have you actually been the independent contractor in this field?
I have been a little over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been extremely fulfilling. And in fact, I think my proudest moment was, sorry,
It's okay.
that's when the tears come back again. So
honey, be you. This is all about you. We are celebrating you. And the thing I love the most about, we talked a little earlier, the thing that I love the most about my show is that, we can be who we are. So this isn't about right or wrong answers and, having an interview. You are a guest on my show, but this is about you. So, I love it when people are raw and they're real. That's
so
the beauty of
appreciate
it.
that. Yes. Well, my proudest moment was when my husband did come to me and he said, you have become that vibrant woman that you used to be. Mm-hmm. And that's when it made me realize how, like you said earlier, I was always there, but I had gotten kind of lost along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And, the challenge in my type of business is, you're going to have, and I shouldn't say my type of business. The challenge in any business is you're always going to have those naysayers. And when you have an online business like mine, you
mm-hmm.
always have those people that are like, oh, you're really doing that. That's, and everybody has these negative opinions and these negative thoughts. And when you feel so strong and so positive and you're
mm-hmm.
feeling so good, to be able to know within your core of your being that you're okay
mm-hmm.
is huge. And being able to, that's probably the biggest challenge that people will have in any business situation, is to just stay true to who they are. Stay true to who you are and who God wants you to be. And none of that stuff you hear in your head is going to get into your heart.
Exactly. Because, and usually when you have those individuals that are talking consistently behind you, beside you, in front of you, 90% of those people aren't doing anything. You always have critics that's got to tell you about what you're not doing right, but they don't really understand what it means to be in business because they haven't done it themselves.
Right.
But like you said, if it's something that you love, I don't care if you're selling shoestrings on the side of the street. If you feel those are the best shoestrings in the world and you can sell them, seriously, that's really what it's all about. People become millionaires and billionaires because they believe in themselves. Period.
Yes.
We all come into business because we know that we can do it better than the next person. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's the beauty of being a business owner. It's not about how big it is. It's not about how small it is. It doesn't make the difference whether you have a brick and mortar or whether you're working from home. At the end of the day, it's about satisfying you, and you are making a hell of a good living. You're taking care of your family still, and you're happy. 90% of the time when we're sitting in our jobs, I still work a full-time job and run my businesses, and every day I sit in that damn cubicle cubicle, I sit up and think to myself, Lord, how much longer do I got to sit up in this cubicle? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's not that you don't appreciate it, but at the same time, when you have a desire that just ignites that fire within you, you really truly want to come out here and do you. And that's the beauty of being able to be a business owner. And like I said, it doesn't matter what you want to do. It's about the fact that you believe in who you are, you know what you're capable of doing, and you know what you can provide to other women so they can have that same, you know, feeling. And like I said, we don't know what all their circumstances are. I mean, sure, it's obvious that when you're working with them, you have some idea. But at the end of the day, we all have different reasons for why we do what we do. And but what you have done is that you are allowing women to be them.
Yep. And also, I think it's really, really important. And one of the things that the culture of my company and the culture that I am creating for my own company is to lock arms with people, because people, what's that word? Anyway, we're supposed to be together. We're not supposed to be by ourselves.
That's right.
And so being able to lock arms together with each other and build each other up and help each other be successful. I don't care what kind of business you're in. You do not need to compete with other people, because there's enough people in this world that everybody can get business. You do not need to compete with other people. Lock arms with them, because you know what? You're going to be, if you lock arms and you help other people, you're going to be rewarded in the long run, like you're doing with this radio station.
Exactly. And that is the key. Sharing resources. I preach about this 24/7, because it amazes me. And 90% of the time when you have people come out in business, especially when they're new and they're just, you know, they're excited about what they're doing, but they don't understand how important it is to share your resources, how important it is to understand that, guess what? You're not the only person out here doing business. You know? we all have learned from others. We all have been mentored in some way, shape, or form. You know, that's how you grow. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. And so, you know, like you said, locking arms with each other will get you much further down the line than it will be if you're constantly standing out here with your arms away saying, I don't want to be involved with you. You know, because I always laugh at those who tell me, well, I don't want somebody to steal my idea. Sweetheart, it's not your idea, because guess what? Somebody else is already doing it.
That's right.
You know, if somebody's done it or already doing it, you are just going to provide it in a better and different way. That's the way we have to look at business. But like you said, there is plenty out here. You don't need to be competitive. You know, we all know that there's competition, but it's good competition. It's okay, because you still also can learn from those. You know, how are they doing this better than me? Or how are they making more money? Or you know, why do they seem to be moving along? This is how you learn. But there's definitely enough resources available. And that's what I love about the show. It's, you know, like I said, we're here to share stories. We're here to talk about the good, bad, and ugly, but also provide and give advice, so that, you know, that next person who wants to achieve this opportunity of being a business owner, you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. You can hear from those who are doing it every single day. So to lead me into that next question, what advice would you give to a person, doesn't matter whether a man or a woman, who would like to go into business? What would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them just that. Well, okay. So let me go backwards a little bit. Okay. I would say do your due diligence, right? Okay, that was a tough one coming out. And I swear I have not had a glass of wine yet. So. It's
okay. It just means we need one when we get done. Okay.
I know. Okay. I'm going to have to come to Jersey or wherever you're at.
I'm here in Alexander, Virginia. Come on down. Okay.
Absolutely.
Come on down.
So due diligence in the fact that, first of all, follow your heart. Okay. If your heart and soul, the day that I decided to jump into this business, my heart was pounding and my stomach felt like I was going to throw up. Well, I knew that was my Holy Spirit speaking to me as to make a move and do something. So listen to those nudges, listen to those feelings inside yourself, but do your due diligence and check out what it is that you're looking into. Make sure it's something that is not just a whim, that it's something that has some legs to stand on, because you don't want to pour your whole soul and feelings into something to just have yourself crushed also. You don't want to go through that. So do talk to people, make sure that you're going to be surrounded by, as I said, lock arms with people. lock arms with the more people you can lock arms with. Find a group, find an organization, find a support group, find a chat group. Lock arms with people that can help you be successful. If people are not willing to do that with you, then that's not where you need to be.
Exactly. And you hit it right on top, the nail on top of the head, because there are many people who won't share that, and that's okay.
Right.
So it just means you just need to move on, because there's no sense in going down that rabbit hole where it's just going to be a miserable time anyway. So absolutely.
Amen.
Excellent. So now tell me how the listeners can get a hold of you.
Okay. Well, I have a Facebook business page, and it is Skin Rejuvenation - Changing Your Skin and Changing Your Life. And I also have an email address if you'd like me to give that.
Yes.
Okay, it is LMARKELRANDF@AT&T.net.
All right. Awesome. Because look, after listening to this show, you should be blowing up, okay?
Oh, thank you.
You have been phenomenal.
Oh, well, I was nervous as all heck, so that should just tell you, anybody who's listening out there, I said to Kimberly, I learned a saying back a few months ago that said that God puts blessings on the other side of fear. And I was very fearful to do this. I've never done anything like this before. So I thank you all for giving me the blessings at the end of my fear today.
Well, you are very welcome. And like I said, you did a phenomenal job. And I absolutely thank you for coming on my show this evening. Do you have any last words for the listeners?
Well, I would say that everybody, whether you're in business or not, you should always want to have the first thing that people see be the best that it can be.
All right. Okay. Well, at the end of that note, again, like I said, thank you so much, Lisa, for coming on our show this evening. You have been awesome. And for everyone else, enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.
God bless.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.